main problem Career Karma is trying to address?
Career navigation. So we help workers find job training programs to get them jobs in tech. We started with boot camps, but we're using this $40 million to expand into higher education and the enterprise.
Now, we've heard a lot about the Great Resignation, people reconsidering their job opportunities. Talk to us about some individual stories and how Career Karma has helped students and people navigate these big decisions.
Yeah, we actually have a group of people. They're called the Young and Ambition Squad. So they meet regularly inside of our live audio rooms. There's a lady named Sydney Sampson. She used to work for DoorDash, just got a job at Accenture. Another lady named Lanice Powell. She was a teacher, just got a job at an ed tech company called Newzella. And many others in her group that are not just getting jobs at traditional tech companies, but even at Fortune 500 companies like Lowe's that are doubling down on their digital platforms. Career navigation is mostly psychological, not technical. And so after we match people to different schools, we're able to actually connect to different peers and mentors in our audio rooms, which is where they met. And there's several other stories like that as well.
Now, one of the reasons, as I understand, Career Karma is so successful is the impact of personal coaches and career counselors, which are expensive, I would think. How do you scale that to 1 billion people, which is your goal?
Yeah, so, it's very hard to do that if you're going to be running an organization where you have just coaches that are on staff. But what we've realized is whenever you connect people with a shared struggle, they want to help each other. So, for example, Lanice was in a group with other teachers that were also going through a career transition that were one step ahead of her. And since they were already doing what she was trying to do, they were naturally willing to help them. We do have some people on staff that might host different moderation rooms just to keep community guidelines. But now that we have about 3 million people a month coming to our platform and thousands of people in our audio rooms, it's very self-organized, very similar to like a community like Reddit, where you might have a moderator and other people just participating in the community.
Now, we're seeing a lot of tech workers and crypto enthusiasts move to Miami, where I understand you're doing a lot of your work. I recently spoke with the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, who had this to say about the influx of new talent.
Our economy was driven oftentimes by hospitality sector and by construction sector, two of which are oftentimes not as high paying jobs. And so part of what we want to do is we want to differentiate our economy, and we want to provide higher paying jobs and better opportunities for our residents.
You've been talking about how to prepare Miami residents as an example for the future. Talk to us about how the work of Career Karma would intersect with what Miami needs.
We've been talking with Mayor Suarez since 2018 with a guy named Saif and Raul Moaz. I think it's going to take a collaboration of working with the government, the schools, and the companies to work with the local residents. To your point, there's all these tech people that are coming into the city. They're taking advantage of these jobs. And so what we want to do is work with the local residents to match them to different training programs that can get them jobs in less than a year. So there's training programs like WinCode and BrainStation that are inside of Miami right now. And we can work with local companies like a Royal Caribbean, for example, that are also doubling down on digital to figure out how to reskill and match those people to the jobs that are being created.
I'm curious how your own path as a CEO and founder who doesn't look like a lot of typical tech CEOs and founders, how that has impacted the mission and what you want to accomplish here. What's your personal experience been?
So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I've always been proud to be who I am. I've never been ashamed to be who I am. One of our investors is Arlen Hamilton. She uses a word called underestimated. So I've always seen that as an advantage. Part of the reason why going to Miami is strategic is not just because of the ties that we have politically and professionally, but also because not only am I Black, but my first language is Spanish. And a lot of these people that are susceptible to automation, 50% of the Miami economy is making $35,000 a year and it's susceptible to automation. So we could actually relate to them in a better way. So we want to be working with not just the city of Miami, but the rest of the nation and all over the world to figure out what is the playbook to make sure that as the tech world continues to grow, because last year was a historic record, $300 billion in capital invested, that areas aren't gentrified. And so that's what we're thinking about. So I see it as an advantage.
Absolutely. You're also working with SoftBank, one of your investors. We had a couple of folks from SoftBank on the show last week. They said they're betting big on Web3 and crypto. Obviously, the metaverse is a huge trend. What's your bet? What's your vision for the future of education and some of these trends in the metaverse or this future internet that everyone seems to be talking about?
Yeah, so this series B round was led by Top Tier, and shout out to SoftBank for doubling down. Um, So our big bet is that we realize that we started with boot camps because it's the playbook that traditional schools are actually copying, and as the student loan bubble continues to go up, at some point it's going to pop. In my opinion, it's my personal opinion, and I think the education primarily going to be funded by government, philanthropy, and employers, which is why we are actually expanding into the enterprise and offering career Karma as a benefit, working with employers that want to pay for the tuition for current talent that wants to upskill, but also to attract talent. You've seen news like Amazon spending several $100 million to pay tuition for workers. You see PwC spending $3 billion, AT&T spending $1 billion, and now the World Economic Forum making a big push to reskill 1 billion people by 2030, which it's not a coincidence. Well, it is a coincidence. That's also our mission. And so now you have employers, you have governments, you have tech people all doubling down, and Career Karma serving as a sole bridge to match workers, schools, companies, and technology and capital together.